Alright, I'm working on my second pour here on the sewing machine table. You guys saw pictures of the space table before, but that was just the first layer. So in this one, to get the second layer, the first thing I needed to do was sand the whole thing with 220 so that I can get a good mechanical bond to this surface with the next pour. And I have my epoxy warming up in front of my heater so that it flows a little bit better. I have my scale for measuring out the epoxy, and then my additives. I have a series of mica powders, glitter, and then I'm adding color using just regular spray paint. So I'm going to mix up some resin, and then I will come back when I'm adding colors and get ready to do the pour. So real quick before I do my pour, I just wanted to talk about what I'd done as a base coat. And basically I painted the whole table black with a primer, a paint primer in one. And then I used the spray paint and I fogged some colors, blue, purple, green, some orange. And then I did my pour over it. So you're seeing kind of a mix of some of the mica powders in the pour, but there's also some color in the base. Alright, for colors, I have my big bucket of clear, and then I poured a little into each of my mixing cups, and I'm going to do a series of, I think, 5 different colors for this next pour. I'm just going to put some mica powder in, and some purple glitter, and some purple paint. And I'm going to do that for each of the different colors I'm going to use. But first what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this clear and I'm going to pour it on to get a base coat. And what this will allow, it breaks the surface tension of what the other colors I'm going to pour and allows them to spread out and disperse, almost like lubricates the surface. So I'm going to get that spread out on the surface, and then I will finish mixing these colors and I'll show you where we're at then. So try not to get too much resin on my hand, or on my phone rather. I'm going to just spread with a gloved hand and get it as even as I can. You could use like a trowel for doing like grout. And that would give a little bit more even coverage, but I got this epoxy nice and warm, so I'm expecting it to level pretty well. And like I said, this isn't actually the full pour. When you mix it out, you're using about 3 ounces per square foot to get that 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch thickness, and this is not that much. It's just to get the whole surface wetted out, so that the other pours I do flow the way that I want them to. You can see it's not as cloudy. There's a little bit of cloudiness here, but that's just from air bubbles trapped in the epoxy. But like I said, this one's clear. I think there's enough glitter in the base coat that I'm probably not going to do a full pour. I'll get clear on a lot of it, but when I originally did the pour, I wanted there to be like a big purple nebula here, and I used a brush and chopped it out. Oh no. And I ended up blending the colors more than I wanted, so I'm going to change my technique a little bit for this one. And instead of using the brush to chop out air bubbles and mix the colors around, I'm actually going to use a heat gun and blow the colors around. And I think that'll give me the deeper look that I want. Instead of what you can kind of see here, the glare is a little tricky. I do like the way this came out. It's just not what I had in my head of the way I wanted it to. So I'm going to try a little different. And I'll get with you once I get this all spread out. So I only mixed up 3 colors. I have a purple. There's some purple paint in there. This is just a pink and like a maroon mica powders, and then this is a blue paint, blue glitter, blue mica powder mix. And I'm kind of going to do this like people do their, they call it dirty pour, with like acrylic pours and stuff. And that's going to be, I'm just going to mix them. I have a little bit of clear here. I'm going to kind of randomly put them in. I'll do a little clear in between. All in the same cup. So that when it dumps out, it's kind of a mixture of all of them. And I'm going to try not to work it as much as I did the last one. I thought that just diffused the colors and layers a little bit more than I wanted to. So now I'll take this and I'll just kind of pour it in the middle. I still think I mixed those colors a little darker than I wanted to, so I might take some clear. And then I'll take the heat gun. Yeah, it's not moving things as much as I wanted it to. I was hoping I could like push the color. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, this is really hard to do while holding a phone, so I'm going to put the phone down and see what I can do. Alright, so the technique I settled on was kind of just holding it straight down and making waves. And pushing it around that way. And that disperses it a little bit better. I still think I might take the brush and spread out some of these other spots. I kind of got to do it randomly. If too much in one spot, it doesn't look natural. The product I'm using is Stone Coat Countertops epoxy. There's a couple different brands. There's Ligari. There's some on Amazon. I went with Stone Coat because it has a long working time. It's really long. It's like hours. I'll come back and I'll wet these edges out so that it runs over the edge completely, and then I'll also hit the surface with a blowtorch to get rid of all the little air bubbles you can see. And I'll do that twice an hour for like 3 hours and it'll still be wet.
This won't be dry until tomorrow. I think it's a 24-hour cure time, 72-hour working time, and then it's actually a full week before like being exposed to water or chemicals or anything. I might try a different product in the future that doesn't have quite as long a working time, but it's really forgiving because of that working time. And like I said, the first pour I did, I think I overworked it a little bit just because I had too much time and I had in my mind what I wanted and it wasn't doing that exactly. The other thing, I think that a lot of the colors right now, I'm using those mica powders. They're heavier. It's a particle in solution, right? Or it's not in solution, it's in suspension. And so I can see them sinking in the resin and settling on the bottom. And that's not really what I wanted. I think I might do more with the paints, because the paints are going to flow and different pigments are going to have different density and react a little bit differently. Whereas this mica powder just kind of sinks and doesn't give me that three-dimensional effect that I want. Didn't actually want to fill that hole either. I forgot to tape it. There's all kinds of neat videos on epoxy and acrylic pours. It's a super fun project to see what kind of randomly happens. I was hoping that I'd be able to use it to make a space table and have it react in a way that was a little bit more controllable, while like the randomness adding to the natural look. I think that with a little practice I could get it to behave a little bit more the way I want to. Like, that's pretty much exactly what I was looking for the first time, and that's really neat. I think I might drip some pink in these spots and then do a little bit of work with the brush. I'm going to try and spread out some of these ribbons a little bit more. Yeah, I can see that it's sticking to the surface because those mica powders have sank. And they're awesome because it's like a super fine glitter, but I kind of want ribbons of color suspended in the resin to give it more depth, and the mica powders aren't doing that. I think the paint would have done that. So maybe I'll have to do another layer. We'll see. I'm going to grab a brush and mess with this some more, and then I'll show you where it comes from after that.
Alright, here it is after moving some of that stuff around a little bit, hitting it with the brush a little bit. It's really taking on a little bit more of what I was trying to do. But you can see there's a lot of bubbles and stuff, so now we hit it with a blowtorch. You can see all the tiny bubbles popping. I gotta be careful, this is MAP gas, so it's hotter than propane. I gotta hold it a little bit further back. I'm starting to see a little smoke. Alright, here we are with Space Table Layer 2. Came out pretty cool after I got everything moved around the way I wanted to. I had one little instant right here in the middle where I got a little close to the blowtorch and the surface crusted, so I was able to peel it off and get some clear in there. I'm going to do one more layer on top of this, so I think that if I just concentrate some stuff there, it's not going to be a big deal. But I got pretty much exactly the effect that I was looking for in this one, and pretty stoked how it turned out. All right, it is the next morning, and let's take a look. All right, so you can see some of the cloudiness has dissipated. The tiny air bubbles have worked their way out. That looks pretty sweet. Yeah. This isn't even that bad, that spot that I fixed. There's some sharp spots I'll have to sand down, but I'll have to sand the whole thing when I do my top coat. I'll probably add a bit. Yeah, you can see here, these colors got worked together a little bit more. It still looks pretty neat. Let's see if it'll focus. But I really wanted more of like this effect. And that's just from the brush moving the stuff around and not getting all the layers between the resin. But it looks pretty awesome. I'm sorry about the glare. I don't know how to do this. I guess if my ceiling was black, it would be easier. But yeah, like that's pretty much exactly what I was going for. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed this second pour, and if you did, I'll shoot a video of doing the final one.